They were big, bulky, and the only way to go. Before call or display, the phone book, also known as the telephone directory, was how we found people. No internet, no Google, and certainly no GPS or location-based services, this hands-on approach literally allowed our fingers to do the walking while we perused the tens of thousands of names in the heavy but necessary tome. Found in every household, the telephone book was where we located names, addresses, and phone numbers, though no corresponding selfies or social media handles accompanied them. In fact, in these times that predated social media altogether, we kicked it old school with just the printed information on the page. And guess what? We were fine. Every year, we'd come home to find the thick, heavy phone book on our porches or outside our front doors, just waiting to be dog-eared, earmarked, and thoroughly used throughout the coming 12 months. After all, it was the only way that we could find out the phone numbers of the others in our pre-digital world. The first telephone directory, or phone book as it was later to become, can be traced back to New Haven, Connecticut in 1878. A one-pager it was back in the day, but it nevertheless got the job done. Though there were only 50 names listed, everything's relative, as that city at the time only had 4 telephones for the entire population. Phone books in general followed a standard format. Listed in alphabetical order were the citizens of the book's particular city, along with their address and their important digits. Sometimes, more cautious residents shunned this public spectacle of personal information and paid a bit extra to have that line item in the city phone book that read, "Unlisted." No Google Maps or worse, Google Street View to blow one's cover back then. As telephones became ubiquitous in the mid-20th century, so did the types of phone books that were available. There was the gold standard, the white pages, that listed city residents' phone numbers, and later on, the yellow pages made its debut. Similar to the white pages, this book was, yes, yellow, but filled only with the names and numbers of businesses in the community. The yellow pages' popular slogan, "Let your fingers do the walking," is still remembered and sometimes quoted today. As digital communications came to the forefront of everyday life in the late 90s and early 2000s, the need for the phone book diminished, and rapidly so. Add to this the growing concern for the environment and the obvious waste that phone books now exemplified, especially in an age where information was increasingly available online. Like all good things, the phone book, too, had to come to an end, and in most places today, they are just a distant memory. Kids, tweens, and teens of a certain age as well would question the utility of a thick, heavy, and cumbersome book being used when, hey, you can just Google the information and find the number and perhaps the panoramic street view of your intended phone number online. True, yes, but the phone book indeed served as a useful and helpful purpose in its heyday, all things considered. If you have any retro memories that you'd like to share, or if you have an idea for a retro memory or for the show, I'd love to hear from you. Please connect with me on our Facebook group, Parenting Then and Now Podcast, via Twitter, PTAN Podcast, or you can email me at sam@ptanpodcast.com.